Today I'd like to talk about an aspect of teaching which is really central to what we understand by teaching. I want to talk about some of the thinking processes that experienced teachers make use of when they teach. Teaching is not simply a matter of using certain principles, presenting certain information from a book. Teaching is a question of creating, often on the spur of the moment, an engaging lesson from whatever resources you have available to you. Now, how do teachers do this? The other day, I gave some of my student teachers a task. I said, imagine that you are in a school and the colleague who's teaching the speaking class is unable to arrive. 5 minutes before the class, the supervisor asks you to take over the class, and she hands you a glass, an empty glass, and says, that's your material for the lesson. And I set my student teachers this task, how would you use it? And about 5 groups working together quickly came up with all sorts of ideas as to how they would build a speaking lesson around that object, the glass. Some of them said, well, we'd talk about containers. We'd develop some role play activities, borrowing something from a neighbor. They had lots and lots of ideas as to how they could construct a lesson around that object, thinking quickly on their feet. I only gave them a few minutes to think of this task. Now, what are teachers doing when they engage in these kinds of activities? They're employing what are called pedagogical reasoning skills. In other words, they're looking at a piece of content, thinking about how can I get useful language learning experiences out of this? What difficulties might I encounter? What language will I need to teach in order to do the tasks I plan to use? And so on. These kinds of activities are the things that teachers do all the time when they teach, experienced teachers in particular. They look at the potential lesson that they're planning to teach. They ask, what grouping arrangements will I use? Will I need to teach extra language? Will I need to develop vocabulary or grammar around this particular activity? So teaching is a thinking process, and a lot of the thinking goes on prior to the lesson, and also quite a lot of it goes on during the lesson itself. And good teachers have this capacity to be able to look ahead, to plan, to think on their feet, and to create effective lessons based on things that happen during the course of the lesson itself. How can you acquire this skill? Well, by observing other teachers, by working with teachers with different levels of experience on planning lessons, by collaborating in different ways with experienced teachers, learning from each other. So if we want to develop our understanding of teaching in depth, we need to provide opportunities for teachers with different levels of experience and knowledge to work together on planning tasks, on teaching tasks, and from those activities to be able to share the thinking that they employ as they create effective plans for lessons or as they teach effective lessons.